All right, good day, everybody. Um, Today, this week, we're going to be talking about technology, services, and cultural considerations. Okay, um, fairly simple, not difficult. This week is you guys have no assignment or quiz due this week, which means we're going to be going live to today. So make sure you guys are on the live chat after we're done. After you guys are done watching this slide, because I'm going to be asking questions on all the stuff here. Supply chain. What is supply chain? So basically, supply chain is anything that has to deal with right from the beginning, the inception of a product, right? So the beginning, even just the idea, sourcing the materials, and then transporting those materials, manufacturing the materials, all up until the end product. Okay, so that's what supply chain is. It's the management of that entire system, that whole timeline. So from when you source the products to when you finish the products. Lays out all aspects of production processes, right, including activities involved at each stage. So it lays out all the aspects. So all the supply chain is it basically tells you all the basic details of each process in creating a product. So activities include at each stage information that is being communicated, natural resources that are transformed into useful materials, like we said, the human resources, like all the people who are involved, and other components that go into the finished product or service, right? So like if you're building this mug here, right? You're building the mug. You got to order the raw material first, right? So you got to go to a supplier in China or whatever, and or wherever you go, and you got to first get the plastic, what type of plastic you want on this, or what type of stainless steel do you want. Okay, now you source that. Okay, now you got to send that over to the manufacturer. Manufacturer manufactures it, and then they put it together, and you got to sell it, right? So that's basically supply chain. Why is it important? So basically, what supply chain does, it maps out the entire process of building a product. Mapping out a supply chain is one of the critical steps in performing an external analysis and the strategic planning. So right, it helps a lot in strategic planning. Um, Clearly laying out the supply chains that it helps a company define its own market and where it wants to be in the future. So you get to figure out where you are in the market, where you want to be in the future. In developing corporate level strategies, a company often needs to make decisions on whether to operate a single line of business or enter other related or unrelated industries. So what supply chain does is I don't know if you guys took e-business with me last year, but I talked a lot about supply chain. So supply chain, you have you have regular one supply chain for one product, but you can have so many different products, right? Like you can have like you have this, but you can have like a smaller version, you can have a cooler, you can have a sippy cup, I don't know. There's a bunch of different stuff. So you can have different supply chains for each, okay? So each stage of supply chain is essentially a different industry. For example, raw material extraction and manufacturing. It's true. Each stage is a different industry. So when you're purchasing your raw material, you have to extract the raw material. Where are you getting the raw material from? Okay, now you got it. Okay, now another process is the transportation. You got to transport it from here to there. That's another industry. Manufacturing. That's another industry. So it's a bunch of different industries. So basically, it helps a company to understand the various stages in building a product. That's why supply chain is so important. So there's two types of supply chains. The first one is the generic supply chain. So very simple, straightforward, like we spoke. Sourcing, extracting of raw materials. Then those raw materials are taken by logistics providers to a supplier, right? The supplier acts as a wholesaler who tries to sell it. The materials are taken to a manufacturer or probably to various manufacturers that refine and process them into a finished product. Then it goes to a distributor that wholesales a finished product, which is next delivered to a retailer. The retailer sells the product to consumer stores, and then once the consumer buys it, this completes the cycle. Okay, that's a generic supply chain. So if you look, raw material, logistics to the supplier. Supplier sends that over to the wholesaler, who is the manufacturer. Then the manufacturer uses logistics to send it to a distributor, right? So distributor is a guy who, so manufacturer makes like a ton of them, makes a large amount of product, sends it to the distributor where they warehouse it. The distributor then sells it in small quantities to retailers, and then the retailers sell it in obviously smaller quantities to consumers. And then that's basically the generic supply chain. Now you got supply chain for e-commerce companies, right? Now if you're an e-commerce company, how does supply chain work? So basically, in e-commerce, a company operates a website, and the website sells various products, right? Like Amazon. When a customer places an order for a product, the product is being processed by technology such as checkout cart, an order system, or third-party products such as Shopify, right? Like Amazon, Shopify, they're all the same. The payment processors then come and deal with payment transactions for the order, which opens up a new supply chain. So here you go. Once the payment's done, a new supply chain's open. The payment processors use their own system, but in most cases they use PayPal or Stripe. When a product order is placed, the warehouse receives the order and ensures the product is ready for delivery. Okay, so that's when our supply chain is starting, right? You get the order. It starts from when the order is placed. Now you get the order. Okay, now you have to get the product ready. Then from where the warehouse where the product is, it gets shipped to the shipping company with a shipping company, and then from the shipping company, it could go either directly to the client. Look for example, in Amazon's case, it goes directly to the client, right? So from warehouse where it's ordered to the client. So that's basically how the supply chain for e-commerce works. Okay, so here we go. E-commerce, products ordered. See on the top right there, you got payment like banks or PayPal, so you get paid. Then when the product gets ordered, the warehouse gets notified. Then the warehouse notified. Then it sends it to the shipping. And when the shipper is done with it, he sends it over to the customer. So shipper, he just ships it directly to the customer. Online purchasing. Online purchasing is a form of electronic commerce, guys. This is super easy, okay? Online purchasing is a form of electronic commerce which allows consumers to directly buy goods or services from a seller over the internet using a web browser. If you're buying anything online, you're doing online purchasing. Consumers find a product of interest by visiting the website, blah, blah, blah. That's super simple. You guys do this all the time. As of 2020, desktops, laptops, tablets, all of them. You can use all that for online purchasing. E-marketplace. E-marketplace, very simple, guys. Is a type of e-commerce website where products or service information is provided by multiple third parties. Okay, so e-marketplace. Online marketplaces are a primary type of multi-channel e-commerce and can be a way to streamline the production process. In an online marketplace, consumers' transactions are processed by the marketplace operator, then delivered and fulfilled by participating retailers or wholesalers. So, for example, if you are, I believe Shopify is like that, where you go online and it's just a marketplace where you can purchase whatever you're looking for, but that marketplace, it doesn't have one set place where all the products get out of, where all the products leave from. An e-marketplace is a place where a bunch of people can put their product in there, a bunch of warehouses can market their product there, and people can go there, they can purchase stuff online, and those shippers, those warehouses can then sell it. So let's just say 10 warehouses are selling multiple products on this e-marketplace. Okay, so that's basically what e-marketplace is. These types of websites allow users to register and sell single items to many items for a post-selling fee, right? Just like we talked. Since 2014, online marketplaces have become abundant. Some online marketplaces have a wide variety of general interest products. Some of them are very specific. Okay, so that's what an e-marketplace is. A place where a bunch of sellers come together to sell their product. Amazon is like that, but Amazon doesn't let people ship from their own warehouse. Some of them, yes, some of them are not at the Amazon warehouse. Some of them get shipped from the customers' warehouses, but majority of the time, especially if you're Prime, that's going to be all the products are shipped directly to Amazon. Amazon stores them and ships them out from their facility. E-commerce security, very simple, guys. You need to have some sort of security when you're doing e-commerce because there's always a threat of cyber attacks. There's always a threat of people trying to steal your passwords, people trying to steal your information, and the worst, trying to steal your money. What are some common e-commerce security threats? Financial fraud, spam, phishing, bots, DDoS attacks, brute force attacks, SQL injections, XSS, Trojan horses. Guys, I'm going to be asking this type of stuff on the exam. Make sure, or on the quizzes as well. Make sure that you guys know these. What's financial fraud? So hackers make unauthorized transactions and wipe out trail, costing businesses significant amount of losses. Okay? So hackers, they make transactions and you can't even tell where your money went because you didn't because they erase all the paper trail, right? The trail of like they erase all evidence. Some fraudsters also file requests for fake refunds or returns. Refund fraud is a common financial fraud where businesses refund illegally acquired products or damaged goods. So you steal a cell phone, all right? Someone steals a cell phone and then goes and tries to return it to the Apple store. Say, hey, listen, it's defective. I don't want it, or whatever. They try to do that's refund fraud. Okay, Walmart gets refund fraud all the time. Spam. So where emails, so everyone knows spam emails, right? They're sent a lot to people's emails. It's one of the highly used mediums for spamming. They often send a message via social media inbox and wait for you to click on such messages. Spamming not only affects website security but also damages website speed. Phishing is also another one. So people send emails to your customers with fake you must take action messages. Like I get phishing emails all the time from like RBC and Scotiabank. I don't even bank with Scotiabank, but Scotiabank sends me, oh, someone just tried to hack your account, sign in here. Once you try to do your sign in, they have your whole sign in password and everything. Like it's ridiculous. Don't ever fall for stuff like that. Bots. Just bots developed to scrape websites for their pricing, inventory information. That's basic. DDoS attacks, distributed denial of services attacks, or DOS service aims attacks to disrupt your website and affect overall sales. These attacks flood your servers with numerous requests until they succumb to them and your website crashes. Amazing. Brute force attacks. These attacks target your online store's admin panel in an attempt to figure out your password by brute force. You can protect yourself against such attacks by using strong, complex passwords, and also remember to change it regularly. SQL injections, cyber attacks intended to access your database by targeting your query submission forms. They inject malicious code in your database, collect data, and then delete it later. Amazing. XXS. Hackers target your website visitors by infecting your online store with destructive code. Wow. You can safeguard yourself against it by implementing content security policy. Amazing. So people are actually stealing information from your clients. Like they're going on your website, hacking your website, and stealing information from your clients. Amazing. Trojan horses, right? I think we're all familiar with the Trojan horses. I think some of us got it back in the day when we used to use illegal downloading and all that stuff. Trojan comes attack what looks like a legitimate program. So you're trying to download like a legitimate video or a legitimate. Oh look, I want to download the song from LimeWire or something, and then when you get a straight virus right in your laptop and destroys everything. So basically, it's a fake version of the app loaded up with malware. One form of Trojan malware is targeted Android devices. It affects the devices to attack the routers on their wireless network. Okay, straightforward. All right, kiddies. E-business plan. Basically, an e-business plan is a plan so easy. It's just a plan about your e-business. Like it's just what are you doing? Um, what will you have to do in order to implement and strategize this entire e-business plan and make sure it works? Okay, so if you're trying to take your company, for example, you have a flower shop and you guys don't have any online sales. For you to want to start doing online sales, you need an e-business plan, right? So from going from just a brick and mortar flower shop, you're now going to an online flower shop. So you need a plan for that. So describes how the business plans to organize and manage the company. It articulates the vision for marketing, selling, and distributing the website's products. And the plan should also describe research and development activities the founders have conducted so far, as well as activities planned for the future. Okay, basic. What's the importance of the global service sector? So we always talk about the global, like global products, like selling products globally and all that stuff. But what's the importance of the global service sector? Right? The service sector plays an increasingly important role in the global economy and the growth and development of countries. Services are becoming more crucial in country development, including for the achievement of millennium. Damn. Services are becoming crucial in the country's development, including for the achievement of Millennium Development Goals such as poverty reduction and access to basic services, including education, water, and health services. For developing countries and least developed countries, services trade is a new frontier, guys. So basically, for countries that are not on the same wavelength as the other countries. So so for low income countries, let's say Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, India, stuff like that, Pakistan, like they what they do is they send out if you I used to live in the Middle East and we used to have so many Indians and Bengalis and stuff because their biggest mode of income was service. They used to go and do service work. Like they would go do get their hands dirty and do all that. And they'd make their money in the Middle East and send it back to their families in Bangladesh. So then the families would pay for stuff, and that's how the economy would run because all these men would leave their families and go and work, right? So extremely important to have the the service sector, right? International trade and services cover trade intangibles such as people skills. Services trade is affected by domestic regulations enforced in the sectors concerning countries. World Bank has pointed to higher contribution of growth in the services sector to poverty reduction than the contribution of growth in the agriculture and manufacturing sectors. That's big, guys. So the contribution of to reduce poverty, the biggest thing that's happening right now is selling your services, right? So for example, in China, China has so many services that are so much cheaper than North America. Why? Because China has so many people that can do the same job. In North America, trying to find people who do the same job is very difficult. So, so basically, what they're saying here is the service sector in the world is really helping reduce poverty in poverty-stricken countries. Okay, so people are just selling their services now, like their handiwork or whatever. They're selling all of that. Okay, guys, that's basically it for this slide. For this week, we are going to be going live, so make sure you guys watch this. I will be asking questions. I will be picking random people and asking questions, so make sure you guys watch the slide. All right, see you guys in class.